Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec Torelli, and welcome back to A Hand of the Day. Continuing on from last video, we talked about the early stages of multi-table tournaments. In this video, we're going to talk about those crucial mid stages of tournaments. So many of you ask me, how do I chip up without cards? And how do I prevent my stack from just dwindling down until I'm forced to shove or fold? In this video, we'll talk about how. Stay right here. First off, welcome to the Conscious Poker YouTube, where we strive to turn good players into great ones by providing the best strategy and mindset content available. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thanks for being here and your attention. Hit that subscribe button so you're the first to know when awesome new content comes your way, as well as the next video in this series where we're going to talk about how to play the late stages of tournaments. So this hand of the day kicks off in the near the money bubble of a online tournament. The blinds are 2,500, 5K, and I have a 120K stack. It gets folded around to me in the hijack, and I make a min raise to 10,000 with pocket sixes. And I made a small raise here because the stacks behind me are very short, and they're typically going to be 3-betting often or folding, and therefore I don't need to raise any bigger to deny equity from the other stacks because their decision is quite binary. I'm not going to be facing that many calls here in a spot like this. Now the cutoff decides to make it 24,000 with a little over 100,000 stack, and it gets folded back around to me. And this is one of those crucial points in the tournament where first and foremost you kind of have to decide why you're playing. Are you playing to cash or are you playing to win? And I know some critics will say that the best strategy is to cash first and then to win. And I respect that strategy and I understand. But it's one thing to consider that if you make the money with a small amount of chips, it's going to be a lot harder to accumulate once that money bubble bursts. And furthermore, on the money bubble, there's great power in having a lot of chips because you can bully other stacks. And it feels to me like, maybe you guys can relate, there always comes a time, a pivotal moment in a tournament where you kind of hit a crossroads and you have to decide what your real priority is. Do you want to secure the cash, or do you want to secure getting to that next pay jump or increasing up the pay ladder? Or do you want to take a shot and have a big stack and then let that momentum compound and the rich get richer, so to speak? Because when you have more chips, you can take more situations, you could push, be more aggressive in certain spots, you can 3-bet more, you can push people off hands, and then it's easier to accumulate chips without hands. So in a spot like this, I decided I'm willing to, first and foremost, my macro strategy, I'm willing to take a risk and potentially not cash if I'm wrong, and go all in and bust, but for the sake of winning this pot and having a lot of chips, putting myself in a dominant position at the table to be one of the chip leaders, which then allows me to accumulate other chips. So it's about thinking multiple streets ahead like you would in a chess game and understand what your big picture strategy is. If I win this hand, if I jam all in and he folds, or of course if I get lucky, jam all in and he calls with ace king and I double, not that I'm looking for that at all, but that is a possibility. Now I have a lot of chips. Even if he folds, I have a lot of chips where if someone else raises, I could go ahead and take a shot or two and 3-bet once or twice and win a couple pots without showdown on the money bubble, and maybe even double up without showdown just because of the way that I utilize my stack. So it's really important to understand this dynamic because this is how you win chips without showdown or win chips without hands in the mid stages of tournaments. So in a spot like this, I decided that I also want to challenge people to think about what level your opponent is on. What is he likely thinking in a spot like this? It seemed to me, and of course I could be wrong, but it seemed to me in a spot like this that he's thinking that if he 3-bets here, it will put me in a very, very tough spot because I am now forced to jam or fold. And this is a great opportunity for him to 3-bet. So for those of you watching that are in a similar spot like this as the villain, this is a great spot to 3-bet regardless of your cards. And here's why. And this is one of the key takeaways that I hope to impart on you in this video. What you're looking for, and I always tell my clients this in spots like these in tournaments, is situations where you have leverage. And the way to find leverage is to risk a small amount of your stack that puts your opponent to a decision for the remainder of his stack. So in this spot, my opponent is very astute here. He's risking 24,000 on a 3-bet, and he's putting me to a decision where I have to either jam for 100 or fold. So he's risking 24 and I'm risking 100. So he's getting 4-1 on his risk reward because he's putting me to a decision for all of my chips when he's only risking a fourth of his chips. So he's getting a leverage here. And this is what you want to look for. You want to look for spots where you A, cover your opponents, B, can apply pressure because there's a pay jump where people are going to adhere to it and they're going to fold, and C, you could risk a small amount of your chips and force your opponent to risk the entirety of his stack. That is what you're looking for. That's that marriage. The marriage of these things where those circles overlap is really the sweet spot. And when you can find that situation, it's great to 3-bet and take advantage of it. And that's how you win win pots without chips in the mid stages of tournaments. It doesn't matter what 2 cards he has. It's better if he has an ace blocker, sure, because it's less likely I could jam with my strong aces because he has an ace in his hand, so it's less likely I have a hand that I could jam with. But even if he has 7-4 offsuit, it doesn't matter because I'm never going to call, he's never going to see a flop, and he's playing the situation, he's not playing his cards. Now, these situations don't come up often in tournaments, but when they do come up, if you find 1 or 2 in a blind level, it's enough to accumulate chips to allow you to pay the blinds and antes to wait for those big hands to actually get all the money in. And these are the spots you want to take advantage of. Now, coming back around to me, I know that he's on this level. I know that he's aware of this spot and he's applying pressure, so I know that his range is going to be wider because he wants to apply pressure in a situation where he's getting great odds on his money. He's forcing me to jam or fold. So that's going to make his range very, very wide, assuming he's aware of this spot, which I believe he is after playing with him for many hours. So I know that he's likely to be bluffing here. It doesn't mean he can't have aces. He can wake up with aces. Sure, he's going to play his aces the same way. But it means that 7 out of 10, he might be bluffing because he's just taking advantage of the spot with any 2 cards. So I know he's on that level, and my goal in poker is not to be on the highest level, but to be 1 level higher than my opponent. So I know he's on that level, so now I'm going to take my hand, and instead of folding it like I might do against a tighter opponent or in a different circumstance where I believe his range is tighter, I'm now going to jam with it. Because I believe that his range is wide, he's going to fold often, and I'm going to win the pot, which is now almost 45,000, without showdown, and increase my stack, and then use those 45,000 chips in 2 subsequent 3-bets, just like he did. I'm going to wait to find 2 other spots where I can use those 45,000, have 2 more bullets to 3-bet randomly, and then pick up chips when other people raise, and I could then be in the spot he's in and apply pressure on someone like me. So that's the strategy. That's the macro that I want to impart on you, where I'm thinking about multiple things, multiple dynamics in this one simple hand where I'm deciding to jam with 6s. So I go ahead and jam. I go all in this spot. And this is like, that moment of truth where, like, is he going to jam? Is he going to call immediately? Or is he going to fold? Now, before we get to the results, if you guys want more insight into how I play these spots, I broke down a video where I play I broke down every single hand I played in this tournament. I got deep. I played every single hand and I played in this tournament. I broke down every one, and I made it into a strategy video. So you're going to see exactly how I chip up in all these spots in the mid stages of the tournament. I put it in the membership at Conscious Poker, which is one of our premier products, and the link in the description is below. So if you want more information to grab access to that video, along with hundreds of other videos on tournament strategy, as well as a course to help you improve your strategy, build it from the ground up. We have topics on every single poker strategy. Check that out at the link below. There's a lot more information there. The second thing I'm going to offer you as well is a free download. If you're not ready for that next level yet with the membership, we have a free download available that shows you my hand reading system. And it's the blueprint I put together that teaches you how I go through putting people on a range in every hand I play using some of these first principles we talked about in this video. That's free at the link below. Just enter your email. I'll send it right over. You'll also get a lot of our most premier content at Conscious Poker, our free premier content. You'll get access to that in that email sequence that we'll send to you as well. So that's available for you at the description below, and I hope you'll enjoy that content. So as for the results, coming back to this hand, I end up jamming all in, and it's that moment of truth. Like, is he going to snap you off with aces? Am I wrong here? And I'm thinking about all this stuff and nothing matters, or did I actually get it right and he folded? So he hesitated for a second, and I know that he's probably just Hollywooding to try and make it seem like he was thinking. But most of the time in spots like these, people have their mind made up about what they're gonna do. So he ends up folding, I take home a nice pot, and this propelled me to get into the money, use those chips to accumulate more, and get deep in this tournament, where in our next video, I'll talk about how to play the late stages of the tournament. So be sure to subscribe when that comes available. Thanks for your time and attention. Much love from me at Conscious Poker, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.